Good afternoon, class. How was your day? I'm glad to hear that. Before we formally start, let us pray first. Who wants to lead the prayer? Thank you, Miss Carpio, for leading the prayer. Before you take your seat, I want you to pick up the pieces of papers under your chairs and arrange the chair and sit properly. Okay, so I will now check your attendance. Who are absent today? Do you still remember our last topic last meeting? What is it all about? Okay, very good. And what are the four major foundations of curriculum? Very good. Let us have an activity. I will divide the class into four groups. Each group will make a slogan about the advantages of literacy strategies in reading. You can also surf the internet about some background of literacy strategies. Am I clear? You may also choose one representative to present your work and explain the slogan you made. So, what have you observed from the activity that you did? Very good. Now, what do you think is our topic for today's session? Okay, for today's session, I will going to tackle about the basic strategies for the developing literacy, and we will be focusing on making connections. At the end of the lesson, the students are expected to enumerate the three types of connection, value the significance of literacy strategies, and identify the five strategies in making connection using existing knowledge. Let us have another activity. Same group. I will give you scrambled letters. What you are going to do is to arrange those letters to get the correct words. Are you ready? What comes into your mind when you hear the word literacy strategies? Very good. A literacy strategies requires a particular method of instructing students in reading and writing. Literacy strategies should be implemented beginning in kindergarten in sequential order, as well as throughout the elementary years. So there are 6 basic strategies for developing literacy, such as making connections, visualizing, inferring, questioning, determining importance, and synthesizing. But today, as I have said earlier, we will focus on making connection first. So there are 3 types of connections students will be asked to make when reading a text. The first one is text to self. Text to self is making connection between one's life and the text that is being read. Teacher may ask students questions such as, have you ever felt like the character in the book? Or, does the story remind you of something that has happened to you? Text to self is like making reflection, just what students usually do when they instructed to read something and reflect to it about what you felt while reading, or does it remind you of something that has happened to you in your life? So the second types of connection is text to text. It is the connection require linking text from one book to a text in different one. Questions such as, how is this book similar to the one we read last week? Or does this book make you think about what we read in history class? So it is more on comparing one book to another. It is about identifying the different lessons and values between books. So the third type of connection is text to world. This connection requires linking a text to a real-world event. Does this remind you of something that is currently happening in the world? Or how is this text similar or different from world event. So it is the connections of real-world event that is currently happening. It is like a sudden realization that what we are reading is something similar to the issue that the world is facing. So, let us now come in using existing knowledge, also called schema theory. It is closely related to making connections. Good readers look for meaning and interpret the text as they read. So there are 5 strategies in making connection using existing knowledge. So the first one is integrating new information. When you come to new information, think about what you already know that is related or similar to the new information. Think about what you are learning, what is the same, what is different. You can prompt your students to integrate new information by asking the following question, such as, what do you know about this? How is it similar to what you already know about? How is it different from what you already know about? Can you picture it in your mind? So, the second one is know and wonder. Before reading, write down or tell someone what you already know about the topic or subject, what you think you know about the topic, and what you wonder. So, read the text with what you know, think you know, and wonder in mind. Using what you said or wrote to help you pay close attention to new information and revise misconceptions you may have. You can prompt your students to consider what they know about and wonder about by asking, what is something are you sure you know about? What is something you think about the topic? Or what do you want to learn more about? What you are wondering about and what are you learning now that you read this part? So the third is making book-to-book connections. It is like text-to-text connection as we tackled earlier. So you have to think about another books that remind you of the book that you are reading. Consider that you learned from those books. Think about if there are any lessons or information from other books you've read relate to this book. You can prompt your students to make book connection by asking, what are some other books you've read that are similar to this one? What other books does this remind you of? Why? Can you connect this book to another book you've read? So the fourth one is books in a series. Think about 2 books in a series. For example, Magic Tree House, Old Diaries, Rainbow Magic, Lot Stanley, A to Z Mysteries. So it is also helpful if you can place 2 books side by side. Ask yourself some questions. What's different in the lessons the characters learned in this book? What did the characters seem to learn in this book? And what about this book? What is this book mostly about? Or what is this one? So you can prompt your students to compare books in a series by asking, what lesson did the characters learn about this book? So the last one is connecting to the world, or it is like text-to-world connections. As you are reading, notice real-world issue that come up. Think what you already know about this issue. Ask yourself, what does the author want me to consider about this issue? Consider why is this important. You can prompt your students to make connections to the real world by asking, what real world issue are you noticing in your book? Consider what happens in this book. What do you think the author may be saying? So is everything clear? Again, what are the three types of connection? Very good. The three types of connections are text to self, text to text, and text to world. How about the 5 strategies in making connection using existing knowledge? Very good. The 5 strategies in making connection using existing knowledge are integrating new information, know and wonder, making book connections, book in a series, and connecting to the world. Okay, let's now have a game. Now, you can check the bottom of your desk. There are some desks that has a paper and a question in it. And you have to answer what is being asked or defined in that paper. Is that clear? Well done, class. You did it all correctly. For your quiz, answer the following that is projected on the board. I will give you only 3 minutes to answer. Is that clear? For your assignment, read in advance about basic strategies for developing literacy, focusing in visualizing. That would be all. Good day and God bless. Goodbye, class.